Not too long ago on this show, I did a review of a game called Evoland, which was a game that took us through various time periods of a cool RPG. It's on the App Store, you should get that. But there's another game that's been around in this space for a while called Life of Pixel, which employs a similar type of theme. It's available for the Wii U, which is where Marissa and I reviewed it, but you can also find it on Steam. What did you think of?
I think on the Vita, too. I think you can find this thing.
It's all over the place.
Yeah, in a bunch of different places. Normally, these retro games are really difficult.
Oh, okay.
Guess what?
Difficult.
It's difficult.
Yeah.
Guess what, everybody? This game is difficult. Surprise. It's cute, though, because you start off as a little pixel, and his name is Pixel. And he gets sucked into a museum world, right? And so we're just learning all about the games that he's learning about. He wants to know where he came from.
Yeah.
So say we all.
Yeah.
We want to know where we came from. So he's doing a little ancestry. He's going in. He's trying to find exactly where he came from. And it's cool because you actually are exploring these different machines.
Yeah.
And you feel the nostalgia, like you feel the tie into certain games as well, especially if you played these games growing up on these old machines. I'm just wondering, though, if it appeals to people that have never actually played these games before.
It does go into some fairly obscure British computer systems, but they were very important, like the Amstrad and the Spectrum, and there's also the Amiga, which became an incredibly important machine for developers out there. There are also, of course, some standouts like the Commodore 64 and the Atari 2600, and the Game Boy and the NES and the Super Nintendo. The gist of the gameplay is here. It's very similar all the way through, which is kind of a statement on how two-dimensional scrolling gameplay hasn't really evolved all that much. What has evolved is the art around it and some of the little power-ups and things that you can collect as you work your way through the game and onto various new systems.
Well, that's exactly it. That's how you have to pass each level. You have to collect all these gems.
Yeah.
And I do like that you get a little history lesson with them, so maybe that would be the appeal to people that have never played before.
What I also like, though, is that you can jump onto the different systems if you want to just explore, and you can sort of carve out a path on the Game Boy for a little while, then you can go back to the Commodore 64, then you can check out the Super Nintendo. I just like the cleverness of it, just like I appreciated that in Evoland. I like this idea of progression and also a tip of the hat to the past. And I love the history bits, and I like that you can unlock things like the Sega Master System if you're diligent enough and patient and persistent enough.
Yeah.
Which doesn't sound like you were.
No, I'm not. Well, you know that I'm not.
Yes.
You know that I'm not. I absolutely loved my retro systems when I played them when I was younger.
Yes.
And I just feel like there's so many of these throwback retro-style games now that are very difficult because they're holding up a mirror to the way it once was. And I like that. I really do. But I'm not going to keep playing this game if it's going to keep torturing me.
Well, that's kind of the challenge, too, of all of these retro indie type titles out there is that we can still play the retro games. And Nintendo does a fantastic job of making them available to us. And the Wii U is an amazing system in that regard because it's almost like a history lesson for the Nintendo product.
That's true. And this is a $10 game. I just feel like we have a lot of things like this, and I can't really justify people spending $10 in the eShop for this game when we have so many others to enjoy.
They're being very clever with their homages and their tips of the hat, you know, and I like all of that history stuff.
Yes. So, would we not rather have an exciting game?
I appreciate this too. It's not as good, but I do appreciate this. I'm going to give Life of Pixel an 8 out of 10.
Okay, applaud the effort for sure, but it's only getting a 6.
Okay.